Mornings on 2 is hitting the road for a zip trip to Fruitvale.
To me, this is the best tacos in Oakland out of all the trucks that are around this area here.
We've got plenty of amazing restaurants to show you, from savory to sweet, as well as where you need to go to get some ingredients you can't get anywhere else. Plus, we'll see just how well people living here know some famous former residents of this neighborhood.
What?
Yes!
He's from Oakland?
He's from Oakland!
Get out of
And
here!
he lives right here in the Fruitvale.
Wilson!
And we'll take a look at some of the unique art filling the Fruitvale district with bright colors and beauty in a neighborhood where people truly know their neighbors.
People, when they move here, are surprised when they say, in my other neighborhood, I knew the person across the street, and I knew my next door neighbor, but here I know people 3 blocks away from me.
All that and a lot more as Mornings on 2 takes you on a zip trip to Fruitvale. And welcome to the Fruitvale Village here in Oakland. Thank you so much for joining us. We're in a fantastic part of town here, located about 4 miles from downtown Oakland. Fruitvale Village attracts a lot of attention, a lot of people, a lot of stores, a lot of creative culture here as well. This is a neighborhood that is heavily populated by Latino businesses, Latino Americans who live here. 54% is the population here, and this is the epicenter, Fruitvale Village, of it all here in the Fruitvale. Welcome to Mornings on 2 to the 9 Zip Trip here in Fruitvale. I'm Andre Sr. along with Gassi Michaelian. Thank you for joining us.
The weather couldn't be better for
Yes.
a day in the Fruitvale. If you have been to Oakland but not to the Fruitvale, this is your reason to go. We are talking about food. We are talking about art. Just the people alone are incredibly warm and welcoming. We can tell you that from the hour or so that we've already been here. Of course, when you think about Mornings on 2 Zip Trips, you have to bring out the whole family, right? So we do have Claudine Wong and Frank Malico. They're just within a couple of steps of where we are, showcasing some of the incredible sights and sounds. And we have to go back to the sights because, wow, Claudine, what did you drive to work today? She'll highlight some incredible lowriders here in the Fruitvale when we join up with her in just a second. First, though, we have to talk a little bit more about the Fruitvale. My son's setting to bring home apples, pears, and bananas from your trip to the Fruitvale. I said, you know what? I know a couple of markets. I bet I could get you some. I've got a long shopping list of delicious foods to pick up while I'm here. The public markets are incredible. The pan dulce, delicious. You have to come here and spend the day. I'm telling you, come hungry and come willing to talk, because everybody here, especially the business owners, have a story to tell of why they set up shop in the Fruitvale. Some people will tell you their businesses go back generations. You know, you mentioned the population here, Andre, and it is more than half Latino and indigenous. There's also definitely an Asian component as well. Many Asian Americans living here in the Fruitvale. A lot of people say that they do everything here, just within steps of where we are in Fruitvale Village. You've got the public market. You've got an incredible public library, the Cesar Chavez branch. You have a Rise Charter School, shops, restaurants. It has just really seen an incredible resurgence over the past, 15 plus years that I've been here. So we really can't wait to highlight all that is the Fruitvale today.
And one of the organizations that's really, truly rooted here in the Fruitvale area is the Unity Council. And we're joined now by Carly Ordaz, who is with the Unity Council. Carly, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome to Fruitvale.
Of course,
Yes.
welcome back to Fruitvale. Absolutely.
We're so glad that we were able to feature this neighborhood. We don't think it gets enough love that it deserves here. It is such a vibrant area. But the Unity Council is steeply rooted in this neighborhood. We've had you all on our newscast before, but I want the viewers to know who are unfamiliar with the Unity Council what you are. Tell us a little bit about it, Carly.
The Unity Council is one of the oldest community development corporations, CDCs, in the United States. Our mission is to promote social equity and improve quality of life by building vibrant communities where everyone can work, learn, and thrive. And we've had the honor of being in this community for close to 60 years.
You grew up in the Fruitvale?
I did.
Take me back.
Oh, my goodness.
What was this place like when you were little?
You know, this was a parking lot.
Yeah.
When I grew up, there was nothing here. Being from the community and seeing the transformation that this organization has had in this neighborhood, in our lives, in my life, has been truly instrumental in setting me up for success.
Yeah.
One of the numbers that you all talk about here, you help 8,000 individuals annually. How is that done, and how is that helping the residents here of the Fruitvale?
You know, the Unity Council is unique in that we like to say that we are 2 or 3 organizations in one. We offer an array of services, over 12 lines of business, from food service to affordable housing development. We're actually standing here in the Fruitvale Transit Village, a nationally recognized transit-oriented development that has really improved the social economic well-being of many of our residents.
You have had people from all over the country come to the Fruitvale, come to you and say, what are you guys doing and how do I replicate that in my city? Because anytime you take a neighborhood where you've had generations of families living and you say, hey, I want to bring in some new shops, I want to bring in a trend, people say, hey, wait a minute now, don't make my rent go up.
That's
right? How do you balance all that?
Well, you know, one of our strategies is development without displacement. So we look at the community. What does the community need? How do we ensure that we provide those services and make sure that they qualify for the resources that we bring? You know, what we do is for them, and we want to make sure that they benefit.
You know, one of the important things here is taking care and helping the families that live here. And you all do that through early childhood development, education, youth mentorship. Talk to us a little bit about that and how that is contributing to this community.
Oh, absolutely. We really work through we support the whole family, the whole child. So early childhood education is our largest program. We serve about over 750 children every single day throughout the city of Oakland and the city of Concord. And we are working in 8 different schools, middle schools and high schools, to support our kids through the most pivotal time in their lives.
You know, Unity Council is also working on just one of the most important pillars of community, and that is safety.
Yes.
And I know that you know and our viewers know that the Fruitvale has had its troubles. When you talk about public safety here in the Fruitvale, what do you want to see? What do you want the community to experience?
Well, the community has to be part of the solutions. You know, we live and work here, so we know what is required to create a safe community. We have the honor of having great relationships with the city of Oakland. We're actually in conversations with the Department of Violence Prevention and many of our partners to bring them down here to Fruitvale so that they have an office here on site and can respond when violence happens, so that we're not criminalizing folks, but we're providing resources and support so that they can thrive in their communities as well.
Important, and just important stuff. Carly Rodaz, you guys are doing some great work in this community. Keep up that good work. This community needs it, and you can see the change it's created in this community already over the years you've been here. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. You know, when we talk about the Fruitvale, a lot of people think about music, a lot of people think about restaurants, but frankly, there is a lot of shopping to be done here, things that you cannot find anywhere else. Our Sal Castaneda grabbed his credit card and headed out, and this is what he found.
We went inside the Los Hermanos market on Fruitvale Avenue. The Fruitvale district has a lot of these small grocery stores that specialize in Latin American food products. These colorful markets are full service with fresh produce, including items not carried by supermarkets. There's also a full service butcher counter here, but the star in these markets are the products from Mexico, Honduras, El Salvador, and other Latin American countries.
For example, you can't get semita at most regular supermarkets. This is something you find only here in a Latin store, and this is Salvadoran pineapple bread. It's so delicious, and if I want to get it, I have to come to a store like this.
Just the hot sauce aisle is a thing of beauty. And these stores often carry piñatas in case you were wondering where to get one. So if you need a full variety of Latin American spices, masa for your tamales or your tortillas, or just want a pan dulce,
Okay, I like this one here.
if you've always wondered about these colorful markets, just check one of them out. They're not too crowded, and you'll find a lot of things, delicious things, you won't find anywhere else.
Piñatas. You can come get them down here.
Yeah.
So you can't get them at a store. You can't get them at Target or Walmart or anything like that.
Right.
You got to come down here and you can get the real deal if you're having a party. Kids always love hitting those things, and I've still yet to be able to break a piñata.
I know.
in
My
life.
sons can do it, but
I know,
I never.
I gotta get it together. Those things are so awesome. All right, Fruitvale. It's an interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the question is, where did it come from?
Yeah.
It has to have something to do with fruit, right?
It must.
But we sent Frank Malico to quiz the folks of the Fruitvale to see what they know. It's just one of the questions in this edition of Zip Trip Trivia. We will be right back.
The sights and sounds of Los Vallenatos, specializing in Colombian dance music. They're a four-piece band, a small footprint, and a big sound. Can you believe these guys got together in the early months of the pandemic? And here we are. They're a huge part of the Fruitvale. Jose, Chris, Brax, Dave Eagle, thank you so much for being a part of our zip trip to Oakland's Fruitvale district. These guys play all over the East Bay. Yeah. It's incredible. Their sound is so big.
It is so big, and they've got the party going on here, don't they?
Yeah,
Man, that sounds fantastic. They're right behind us this morning. All right, so before the break, we told you Fruitvale. How did that name come about? Right. But there's also plenty of interesting information about the Fruitvale that some people might or might not know about, including this, Garcia. Life is like a box of chocolates.
I think I know.
Okay, so let's get over to Frank Malicote right now. He's got the goods, he's got the details, things that you may not know about this fantastic part of Oakland. Hey, Frank.
You're giving away all my stuff there, Andre. Okay, well, very good. Hello, Oakland. Good morning. Happy Friday, one and all. The city of Oakland's been around since the 1850s. It's got its name because of its grassy plains and, of course, the abundance of oak trees here. If that's the case, then how did Fruitvale become Fruitvale? Let's find out. Fruitvale got its name from a nursery that sold fruit trees back in the mid to late 1800s here in Oakland. Can you name the nursery?
I put my time.
It is, but can you name the nursery?
I cannot.
Can you name the nursery?
Nope.
Nope.
I don't know it.
I can't remember. It's way too far.
Yeah. You want to just try?
No. Can't remember.
Oh my gosh. Fruitvale Nursery.
You're the first one to get it right.
You're lying.
I am not lying.
Get out of here.
Congratulations. She's killing it. What's the name of the neighborhood here?
Fruitvale?
So the name of the nursery is?
Fruitvale?
Yes. It was once one of Oakland's biggest buildings, built back in 1923. It was torn down in the year 2000. It is now the Cesar Chavez Educational Center, takes up 3 city blocks here on International Boulevard, an old distribution center, and a huge department store. Can you name the building?
Walmart.
Walmart?
Yeah.
Walmart. That's good. It's a good try.
You know, they're taking over everything.
Yeah. Nope, it's not Walmart.
Is it old school department store?
Yeah.
Sears.
It's a good guess, but incorrect.
Okay.
Can you name the building?
Sears.
Sears.
Am I right?
No.
What
but
is
you're
it?
close.
I'm close?
I'll give you the initials, 2 words. M.W.
That should have helped. It did not.
Starts with an M.
Macy's.
No, but close. Montgomery Wards.
Montgomery Wards. That's what it was?
That's what it was.
Oh, well, I know a lot of people shop there.
Not anymore.
Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Won 2 Academy Awards. Actually grew up as a kid here in the Fruitvale. Went to high school at Skyline. World renowned. Who is this actor?
An actor that grew up in Oakland?
Yes. Huge.
Huge actor.
Huge. Big.
It's here, but I don't remember him.
There's no crying in baseball.
Danny Glover?
Danny Glover. Good guess.
Got that one, huh?
No.
Man, I kind of think I know that one.
So well known.
Yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Forrest Gump?
Forrest Gump, yes.
My name's Forrest Gump. People call me Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's him.
But who was he?
His name is...
he's an Oaklander. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, what actor grew up in Oakland?
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
Forrest Gump.
Tom Hanks?
That's correct.
What?
Look what I have created!
Yes.
He's from Oakland?
He's from Oakland.
Get out of
And
here.
he lives right here in the
Wilson!
Yes, Mr. Wilson himself, Tom Hanks, is from Oakland, and as a kid grew up right here in the Fruitvale neighborhood, believe it or not. Eventually went up to high school at Skyline, up in the hills a little bit here in Oakland. By the way, his movies have grossed nearly $10 billion. He's the 4th highest grossing actor in North America of all time. He just celebrated a birthday on July the 9th, 67 years of age. So happy birthday, Tom. He has been in films for 45 years now and has done over 100. So, and he keeps going strong. And the roots are right here in Fruitvale. So how about that? Guys, back to you.
Frank, thank you so much. I didn't mean to give away your stories, but you always have such stuff that stumped me and stumped so many other people. I didn't mean to give it away, but great stuff. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't know that Tom Hanks lived here in the Fruitvale.
I didn't know that either. I knew he lived in Oakland.
Right,
I
he went
just
to
didn't
Skyline.
know that he spent some time here as well.
Right, so
interesting.
We're learning things
There
as
you
you
go,
are.
Frank.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just a few blocks from where we are here in the Fruitvale, Claudine Wong is at I Love This, a family-owned auto body shop. Claudine, they work on everything from Harleys to boats, but you are featuring the low riders there at Sinmex Body Shop.
Yes, we're at Sinmex Body Shop. They do auto body work, but they also do restoration. They've been around since 2000 and nice enough today to let us in and bring some very cool cars to talk about. I want to bring in Jose Ortiz, who is a founder of the OBD lowrider car, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But Jose, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about the importance of the lowrider community and the culture to this district.
It's very important. This culture has been around for a long time. When I got here in 1980s, they used to meet at San Antonio Park every Sunday, and it was a beautiful culture. I don't was into lowrider back on those days, but I like the concept. I like the idea. People was friendly. People were happy. Family, kids.
Yeah, the lowrider community has its roots in San Jose and in LA, but you have a first here. This is a car that you helped build back in the 90s. Tell me about this OPD lowrider car. First in the nation police lowrider car, right?
Yes, it was the first one in the whole nation. It was built and designed with the whole concept to help the Oakland police officer to bridge the gap between the use of Oakland and the community as well.
And it's done that.
It's done that for 28 years. After the first one, we have helped to build all the 26 lowrider police cars in the whole country.
That's amazing. All right. I got Big Lou over by this car who's going to show us what it can do. And we talk about community. This was just in Vegas, won an award, just first place just recently. Lou,
Hello.
tell me what this car can do. When you're talking about a lowrider, I know you guys did it, 40 guys as part of Street Inspiration in 1 month, which is amazing.
Yes, we did it, about 40 of us. So we took a fully equipped police car and we added this suspension lowrider hydraulics to it. So this car back in the 91 was a running police car on the streets. So now we added our touch to it. I'll show you.
Okay, let me see your touch to it because it's cool. I mean, talk about what this can do and what it's been doing for 20 plus years.
Right.
Let's see it.
So that's the hydraulic system that we added 30 years ago.
That's amazing. All right, as you keep showcasing that, I want to come over to Shane Leisure. Just keep going. Just keep going. We're going to come over here and talk about, you helped build this car too, Shane. You were 14 years old. I've been told you started on the bikes. You moved to the cars.
Yeah, started on the bikes, riding down the boulevard, watching everybody cruise by. Been in the game for 30 years. You know, the main thing is it's such a tight-knit community. It's all about unity, and, you know, we just want to keep it going.
And you say you've seen, like you were sitting there and this is what you watched those cars, you watched these things come through, and now it's going to continue to grow. Where does this go from here? There's lots of clubs. You guys are all part of different clubs.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many clubs in the Bay Area and across the country, and it's, like I said, it's about unity and trying to keep the movement moving forward, staying positive, giving back to our community, and doing things like this to help grow it, you know?
All right, Shane, thank you so much. And so that is really, you guys, such a big part of it. This is cool. It's cool to see, but what you don't see necessarily is what it does to connect this community, what it does to give back to the community, and how the people who take this as a love and a passion are also so passionate about specifically Fruitvale and Oakland and the entire Bay Area. It really is an amazing thing to see, and it's family. Back to you guys.
That is so cool. I've always wanted to flip the switches. You know what
Yeah,
that
yeah,
means?
yeah,
Flip the
to make it
switches.
dance. Yeah. I didn't know OPD had a lowrider.
I didn't know either. That caught me completely off guard.
Yeah.
I love the way that looks. that is just so awesome to see that. Claudia
Nice
got
job,
a really
Claudia.
cool story to cover today.
For sure.
All right. You know, one of the big things that we see around here in the Fruitvale, no matter where you drive around this area, are murals. They are everywhere. They're beautiful. They're vibrant. They're colorful. And there's a story behind them, too. We're going to speak with a woman. She has been painting murals here for decades. In fact, her father painted murals here as well. She has continued on in that tradition. And also, there are other people in her family that also do murals here in the Fruitvale. We'll introduce you to her coming up right after this break. You're watching Zip Trip. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mornings on 2 of the 9 Zip Trips. You know, Gossi, when we were talking about coming here to the Fruitvale, one of the most important things we talked about were the murals that we see all over town. There is history behind them. They started decades ago. You know, it's not necessarily an organized effort, but it's been an attraction for people that want to come and do murals. Some of them are commissioned. Some of them are just people doing murals on the side of buildings. But we talked to one woman. She does commission work here in the Fruitvale, and she's been doing it here for decades, and it's a family tradition. Take a look. It's hard to talk about Oakland's Fruitvale neighborhood without recognizing one of its most notable features, its murals. And one of the oldest adorns the wall of La Clinica de la Raza's dental office on East 16th Street and Fruitvale Avenue. While decades old, it still manages to capture the attention of walkers by, taking in the mosaic of the detailed artistry.
So I wanted to emphasize the thing of knowledge and education.
This painting was originally done by Zilchi Guerrero's father, Ramendo Zala Neville, back in 1977. She's continued in his work, restoring this mural in 1999, and says it's a reflection of the community.
It was mainly around the migration of mostly Mexican people were there, and also about what was going on in the community, and trying to also educate the community, the importance of the culture.
The roots of murals like these in the Fruitvale go back decades, and Guerrero tells me she remembers watching the murals emerge during her time growing up here.
In the 70s, actually, it was like the Chicano art movement and the mural movement. There was also like printmaking and all kinds of forms of arts were coming out.
These colorful pieces found on buildings throughout this community are more than just a feast for the eyes. They also tell a story. Like this mural that highlights the colonization of Mexico by Spain, which she says did not go over well with everyone who walked by it.
So when they see that, it's like a bad thing. But I told them, well, I have the crystals there to heal that moment, because we got to go beyond that.
Another of Guerrero's murals is located on the ground floor of the Cesar Chavez Library on East 12th Street. Here she is meeting the American labor leader and civil rights activist years ago. That meeting served as part of the inspiration of the mural at the library that bears his name. And while this mural highlights the plight of farm workers, it also carries some personal touches as well.
This is my great niece. Her name's
Now, there is no centralized or organized effort behind all the murals you see around the Fruitvale. In fact, Guerrero's murals are done on a commission basis. She tells me, though, she wishes there was a concerted effort around the Fruitvale's murals because of what it would mean for this community.
To promote beautifying the community, to educate people, and to just, have a better place, have a place to communicate with other people, other cultures and nationalities.
So, Gussie, I said earlier it's a family affair. We've got her father. Her husband is also an artist, too. He paints murals around this area, commission work at different businesses that ask for his work. It's gorgeous.
And I love that so much of it is just sort of organic, right?
It is very organic.
Like when I say you can spend the day here, you can spend many, many days here. But when you get here, come hungry. A long time ago, when I got to KTVU, and I figured I'm going to be spending the better part of my life in Oakland from now on. And guess what? San Francisco Chronicle had an article called it the Camino Corridor, and they had a map of all the taco trucks up and down the Fruitvale. We chipped away at that every weekend, and can I tell you, we ate so good. But we're going to update that for you. Our Sal Castaneda is doing the good work of tasting his way through Oakland's Fruitvale district. Look, from taco trucks to fine dining and everything in between, the sights, the sounds, the taste of the Fruitvale are alive and well showcased here on today's Zip Trip. We will be right back.
Well, we all know City. Oakland has lost a few of its names, and one more on its way. But the section is rich, rich, rich. You have Oakland soul, Oakland roots, deeply rooted in the community. Perfect opportunity.
Welcome back to Mornings On to the 9 Zip Trips. We're in Fruitvale. You're listening to Los Bayanatos. They specialize in Colombian dance music, and they are fantastic. Bringing us in this morning, we got Jose, Chris, Rax, and Dave, all part of the band here this morning on our special zip trip to the Fruitvale, a very vibrant and colorful part of Oakland that we're highlighting this morning.
We could easily do breakfast, lunch, and dinner 10 times over here in the Fruitvale.
Yeah.
Our South Castaneda went out to give you a taste of Latin America here in Oakland.
Well, guys, if you come to Oakland's Fruitvale neighborhood, there is plenty to eat. Taco trucks, restaurants, even roadside stands. You're not going to leave hungry. Finding the delicious Latin American cuisine, which is featured in the Fruitvale district, is pretty easy, as many of the places are within walking distance of the Fruitvale bar station. My first stop was Obelisco, a restaurant right in Fruitvale Village. I sat down with Leticia Chavez, the owner of the restaurant. I spoke with her after the busy lunchtime rush about all the amazing Latin American cuisine available in this rich cultural neighborhood.
Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico. So
don't forget El Salvador.
El Salvador.
All the food is good here, but Leticia says perhaps her most well-known dish is a Mexican soup.
Obelisco is very famous for the pozole soup, which is hominy soup, but this is made from scratch.
Obelisco's mole is house-made, so I ordered chicken mole enchiladas and a grilled chicken taco. The tortillas are also made from scratch here, and that makes all the difference. It was obvious from watching the process how fresh ingredients are the key to these mouthwatering dishes. The chicken mole enchiladas came out, and I was ready. This mole is legit. They make it in-house here. Just across the street is a taco stand opened by a former taco truck owner with a loyal following. This is called Tacos El Último Baile, but on the outside it just says tacos.
It's a work in progress.
Dominic Prado still makes the tacos he used to make on his truck at his new brick-and-mortar location. Many days you can see him grilling his chicken on an outdoor grill to give his tacos that char-grilled flavor. Inside, he carefully assembles the taco on special handmade flour tortillas, tacos Sonoran style, and he is very particular about the food he sends out. Although people may have trouble finding him in his new location, he thinks it's just a matter of time. Well, your food is good, so if once they find out that your food is good, they're going to come to you.
That's the hope.
Right next door, I found a Mexican ice cream shop called Nieves Cinco de Mayo. It's a family business inside the Fruitvale Public Market.
Double scoop, strawberry vanilla.
The owner is Luis Abundis, and his face is on the sign, and a lot of the time, he is scooping the ice cream. This business will soon celebrate 16 years in business, and it's going strong. I had their cookies and cream, which tastes a little different here than at the typical ice cream shop. And if you just want to stop at a taco truck, be sure to seek out the Guadalajara food truck right next to the railroad tracks on Fruitvale Avenue. One of the reasons why I think it's really good is because they griddle the tortilla here. It comes out hot and crispy, and it's one of the best burritos in the Fruitvale. This is my favorite Oakland taco truck.
This is also my favorite taco truck. To me, this is the best tacos in Oakland out of all the trucks that are around this area here.
All in all, this neighborhood is a sweet place to eat. Things are a little different, and that's why it's so good. So if you come to the Fruitvale, my recommendation is that you leave the car at home. Almost everything is in walking distance of the Fruitvale BART station. You can come eat and drink and not worry about the car. That's really the best way to go. Let's go back to you.
So, by the way, I've been to that at food truck.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes.
I could eat there every day.
Incredible.
Yes, yeah, that is a
Incredible.
fantastic food truck, and there's so many food trucks here.
Everybody has their favorite, right?
Oh yeah, everyone has their favorite.
Right.
As a matter of fact, when I first started working here, one of our photographers took me to a food truck not too far from here. He's like, "Dude, this is the best food truck in Oakland," and it was.
Yeah, and our photographers are like in Oakland every day. They know. Trust a photographer.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the organizations here that really shape the Fruitvale neighborhood. One of them is La Clinica, and we talked a lot about them during COVID-19. They were instrumental in helping folks kind of keep track of how they were doing, if they got COVID-19, how to test for COVID-19. And a lot of you may have been introduced to them for the first time through that, but they've been around here for 50 years. So we're joined now by Jane Garcia with La Clinica de la Raza. Thank you so much, Jane, for joining us today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Welcome.
So, Jane, this organization was created to kind of bridge that health gap between low-income communities and healthcare. Talk to us a little bit about what you all do.
We provide the full gamut of primary care services. So everything from pediatrics and prenatal care to dental, behavioral health, health education, and we're in the schools. So we do work with school-based health centers.
La Clinica de la Raza started by a group of UC Berkeley students way back in 1971. Go Cal! Long before any of us were born. You've been with La Clinica for 30 plus years here. Did you ever think that you would be doing the work that you have been doing these past couple of years?
I didn't, and every day has been a challenge, but also an opportunity. And we've had opportunities, thankfully, to grow. And we are now in 3 counties, so very grateful for that.
So you're expanding. So talk to us a little bit about how this works. You're helping low-income families. So are these families that don't have access to insurance? How does that process work?
We help people get insurance, so whether it's Medicaid or maneuvering through the Covered California website. And if they don't, then we have a sliding fee scale. So we're able to help people that way. But
you're making sure health care is available even to those who may not even think they can get it.
That's correct. And often people qualify for programs they don't even know they qualified for. So you may walk in uninsured, but we're going to help you walk out with some kind of coverage.
And it's not just, like, let's say a checkup. It's dental. It's x-rays. It's vision care, special care for veterans, women, and children. If we check back in with you, let's say in 5 years, what kind of work do you hope to do in the near future?
I think that we're doing a lot around those social determinants of health. And so one of the things that came out clearly during COVID was the importance of food. Right, there was lots of food insecurity in our community, the homelessness issue. And so when we did our COVID work, we were able to add a lot of those services as well. So the importance of the social determinants of health, and we have 15 minutes with that patient. And it's what happens to that family afterwards.
And Jay, quickly, how does your support work? Is it donations, grants from federal grants, state grants? How does that process work?
Yes, all of the above.
All of the above, honestly. It depends on the generosity of the public, of federal government grants, that type of thing, huh?
Yes, we're federally funded. We build Medi-Cal. The foundations have been so terrific with us, especially around COVID.
Oh,
so we do all of that.
Great work. You guys do great work. Jane, thank you so much. We appreciate you taking a moment
Thank
out
you
with us.
for
The
coming
work that you're doing as well.
Absolutely. Making a big difference before, during, and even now during the pandemic. All right, when we come back, we're going to highlight an incredible small arts community here in the big old Fruitvale of Oakland. You've heard of Jingletown, but do you know what it's like? It's sort of like you're in another world. Our Claudine Wong got to spend the day in Jingletown. First of all, she'll explain the name, and she'll tell us more about what you can experience there. And on the subject of providing basic necessities for families in the Fruitvale, this is part of a food giveaway that happens every week here. People can walk up and get the nutritious food that they need. So one of the many, many ways that people in the Fruitvale are being supported so they too can thrive. We'll be right back on this Zip Trip.
Welcome back to Morningside to the 9, our special trip to the Fruitvale neighborhood here in Oakland. There's a little area here in the Fruitvale called Jingletown, Garcia. But it's more of a feast for the eyes here, more than a feast for the ears. Let's turn things over to Claudine Wong for our hometown spotlight of Jingletown. Claudine.
Yeah, Andre Gassa, the thing we've been talking about this morning is the sense of community in Fruitvale. We see it with the lowrider community, and we see it in the Jingletown neighborhood. Now, this is a neighborhood people might know because of the White Elephant sale. That happens once a year. It's pretty iconic, attracts big crowds. But that is just one part of this very close-knit arts community, and if you haven't been there, you're going to want to pay it a visit.
As you drive into Jingletown, art explodes from every corner, greeting visitors and beckoning them to come spend a little time in this remarkable community.
That's what I really, really like. It's just visually getting here. And then once I'm here, there's just art before I get out of the car. It's beautiful.
There are a couple of stories behind the name Jingletown. One dates back to the 1850s, when this spot was filled with dairy farmers who jingled bells to bring the cows in. The other story comes at the turn of the century. It is said Portuguese mill workers would come home on payday with money jingling in their pockets. Today, there are more stories to tell.
So Jingletown is a quiet little neighborhood of Spanish-speaking heritage families, artists who are slowly being, priced out. Because of the boundaries, we only have 2 or 3 streets that are thoroughfares, so you can walk about anywhere and feel fairly safe.
Elliot says Jingletown was actually cut in half by the 880 freeway, creating 2 areas with their own personas.
The people above the freeway kept the name Jingletown. The church, the small homes, they kept the neighborhood going. And then this area, the small homes were torn down and turned into warehousing. And then when the warehouses all closed down in the 60s and 70s, the artists pushed out of San Francisco came in here. And that's how sort of the neighborhood started.
Jan Watton moved here back in 1984.
I had graduated from school, I was a photographer, and this studio became available, and it's 1,400 square feet of beauty.
She eventually turned that space into the first legal artist live-work space built by artists for artists. Today, the Gray Loft Gallery both celebrates the established and embraces the emerging.
Here we are 11 years later. We've won Best Gallery in the Oakland Magazine Reader's Choice Awards. We're considered a hidden gem. It's a destination gallery.
Her latest exhibit just launched, and while she doesn't do it often, this time she saved just a little space to showcase her work too.
Whenever I travel, whenever I go anywhere, I always have my camera, so I'm always photographing.
To display their work.
Just blocks away, Chuck DeGuida's work in the Jingletown Art Studio moves from what he calls femme art in one room to another with photos he calls rust and ruin.
And then another series called Disappearing America, same thing. Old barns, old buildings, things that were falling apart, things that weren't going to be there the next time you drove by.
This once was the Mosaic Art Institute. It is now both a studio and an exhibition space. And it is part of what Grammy Award-winning musician Fantastic Negrito told the New York Times is one of his favorite ways to experience Oakland's history and culture of art galleries.
Somebody called me and said, you're in the New York Times. It's like, wow, that's amazing. So, it's kind of a destination. It's still creative space. It's still an artsy space.
Filled with people like quilter Patricia Guthrie, who you will find often at her sewing machine.
I do abstract quilts. So the technique that I use is traditional, but I do something very different on the top. Hand-dyed, hand-printed, abstract designs.
This is a new chapter for Guthrie, who spent years in a classroom before finding this passion.
I was on the faculty of Cal State East Bay. I chaired human development and women's studies for years. And after I retired, I didn't want to write the great American novel.
Down the hall, Carol Hilker puts the finishing touches on a painting that highlights many of the people she has met since moving here.
So I started it when I moved here in January. And so all the artists around here in it, people in the neighborhood, it's all real people.
In her Jingletown, the joy and the sense of community is undeniable.
And there's somebody holding their dog. And this is one of the artists here, Ryan, and that's his dog. And his brother came by.
A glimpse of a small but remarkable place.
I like to think of Jingletown as kind of a place where innovation starts.
A place you can drive through, but one that beckons you to stop and stay a while.
So the Grey Loft Gallery just opened its summer salon, launched it last week. On Sunday, they're going to have a Tessier wine tasting. And really, these places they're just so warm and welcoming. All you have to do is email them, make an appointment. They'll open up the gallery, show you around. And really, it's one of those places. They have a little pizza. They have little shops there that you should just come, spend a little time, and you will not be disappointed. Andrea Garcia?
Claudine Wong, thank you so much, answering so many questions. I think a lot of people have heard of Jingletown, but a lot of people don't know exactly how it got the name. And now we know it is definitely a place to visit during our trip to the Fruitvale. All right, let's talk about World Cup soccer.
Yes.
Well underway.
Oh, yeah.
Soccer fever has taken over the Bay Area. Of course, the Oakland Roots are so proud to represent the town. Our Frank Malicote is standing by with a key member of the Roots to really discuss how soccer is really on the world stage. And right here, big in Oakland, Frank.
Boys it ever, World Cup going on right now, and it's big in Oakland. You know, Oakland's lost a few of its teams and one more on its way, but when it comes to soccer, they are rich, rich, rich. They've got the Oakland Roots and the Oakland Soul. The Soul, the women's team, just finished their inaugural season, and I have their chief purpose officer, Mr. Mike Geddes, with us, and the founder of the teams as well. Mike, fresh off a plane from South Africa. How are you?
I'm great. It's always nice to be out here in Fruitvale, and looking forward to enjoying the day, and always happy to talk to you guys.
Tell our viewers, you are the chief purpose officer. It's not just fielding a great soccer club, but it's about community too, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, what better place to talk about community than here in the Fruitvale, kind of the heart of Oakland. And when we had the idea for founding the Oakland Roots and Soul, we knew we wanted to put the community first. And the way that we've done that is we've centered the whole organization around a purpose. And that purpose is to harness the magic of Oakland and the power of sport as a force for social good. And we still want to win championships, want to be a successful business, but we believe that in Oakland, that's the way you do it, is you center the community in everything you do.
And by no mistake, it is your headquarters are right here in Fruitvale, right?
Yeah, just down the street. So I can go back to the office really easily after this. Yeah, we work in a building called Art House with a few other small businesses down the street. So always happy to come out in Fruitvale, support local businesses, support amazing organizations like the Unity Council. It's a great place to be, and obviously soccer is huge here, as it is in many communities in Oakland.
Talk about the Bay Area. We are rich. I know the Women's World Cup team has, I think, 4 or 5 Stanford grads. Alex Morgan's from Cal, Santa Clara.
Yeah, it's an absolute hotbed of talent. I mean, you talk to our technical team at Oakland Roots and Soul, they will say that they are so excited about bringing our soccer team to this region and starting our women's team, because there are so many great, incredible female athletes, but also many girls who have not had the opportunity previously to access that. And by starting the Oakland Soul and our academy team, Project 510, we're trying to really start those roots deeply, get girls being able to see women who look like them playing for our teams and start on the journey themselves, because we think that for all the talent that has come out of the Bay Area, there's much more talent that hasn't yet been tapped.
And I know the Soul just finished their inaugural season, had a good year. They went, 10-3? How were they received?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I said to them just before the final game of the season that, win or lose in the last game, and they happened to win it, by the way, beat one of the best teams, which was great. I said, you guys have achieved everything and more that we could have hoped for, because not only were they competitive in a very short season, they were a great product. They played entertaining soccer. They were amazing with the fans. We had a sold-out game every single time, and we just couldn't be happier about how it went in our first season. It just showed there is a huge passion for women's soccer here in Oakland, and the future's really, really bright.
Let's get your take. World Cup, of course, Vietnam tonight, and the U.S., 6 o'clock here on KTVU. I know you're from England, but what do you think of those Yankees?
Yeah, no, split loyalties. I'm from England. My wife is South African. My kids are American.
Oh, my God.
Split loyalties.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, and I think that, the USA definitely still firm favorites. It's an interesting time for them because they're in this transition. Some of the historic big names, Megan Rapinoe, coming to the end of their careers, but then some incredible new talent, Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, definitely the favorites for the tournament. But, England, European champions, I think the rest of the world is slowly starting to catch up the US. So whilst they're still the favorites, I think it's going to be a really interesting competition.
All right. Well, we'll all be watching, and all the best, and congrats on a great inaugural season, and the Roots are going strong. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it.
All right. Mike Geddes, talking soccer here in the Fruitvale. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Perfect time to talk about soccer right now. Frank Malicote, thank you so much. All right, still much more to come here on Mornings on to the 9, or zip trip to the Fruitvale neighborhood of Oakland. Code Next, it is a free after-school program, and it makes teaching technology more accessible to students of color. Very important here because you want to get them to the future of where the job market is going to be. We're going to have much more on that. In the meantime, I want to thank the folks over at Enikata Tonatiuh. They're traditional Aztec dancers providing our entertainment here this morning. You're watching Zip Trips, Fruitvale. We'll be right back.
I hate to talk over them, but you have to know who they are. A great big thank you to Los Vallenatos. They specialize in Colombian dance music, a 4-piece band, a small footprint, and a humongous sound. Play a blend of early Colombian roots music and some popular hits by some of Colombia's most influential artists of the 20th century. These guys got together in the early months of the COVID pandemic back in March of 2020, and here they are. A great big thank you to Jose, Chris, Brax, and Dave Eagle. Los Vallenatos gracing us with their music and their art here on the Zip Trip to Oakland's Fruitvale District.
Oh, what a great sound.
Yeah.
It really brings home what
all
we're trying to do
our
here.
Chairs.
Yeah, exactly. All right, one of my favorite stories of the day, tech is really the future. We all know that. We've been talking about that for a long time. But often it is out of the reach of children of color and STEM as well. But there is work underway to make that, to bridge that gap, and that's happening right here in the Fruitvale as well. Melanie Kimes is the head of Code Next right here in the Fruitvale. It is a fantastic program teaching making that tech and learning about that tech accessible to children of color. Melanie, tell us a little bit about Code Next.
Yes, I would love to. So CodeNext is a Google program that works to bring a free computer science program to high school students within this area. And so the idea is that they come after school and they're learning anything from JavaScript to making their own websites, making their own apps, making music, all these things. And the hope is that we are building the next generation of tech leaders in this space. Because as you mentioned, a lot of Black, Indigenous, and Latinx high schoolers do not have those opportunities within their schools.
And you're actually matching them up with people who are working in tech right now, sort of like a big brother or a big sister who might be able to say, hey, you know what, maybe, think about doing this right out of high school, or hey, maybe give me your thoughts on this project. It's just that link to the real world and that first job that can mean everything.
Absolutely, because we talk about it's important to know the skills, but it's also important for social capital. So it's what you know, but it's also who you know. So we have Googlers who volunteer their time after work to teach this information. So students see people who look like them, who they can relate to, teaching that information to them, and they can see that it's accessible for them.
Yeah, that networking is very, very crucial here. Melanie, I also want to talk about this because we cannot forget technology like facial recognition technology, right? We know the shortcomings of that. It's unable to really distinctly recognize people with darker complexion, mostly because that technology was developed by people who did not have that complexion. So talk to us about how important it is for people of color to be learning technology at this age, getting into this field going forward here.
Yes, absolutely. Like even as simple as washing our hands, right? And not being able to detect people of color skin. And so it's so important to have Black, Latinx, and Indigenous people in these spaces so they can create. Like people always think within our program, oh, we just want people to work at Google. That's not necessarily true. We want people to be able to innovate and create so that we can see technology that's for people of color. And that's important in this society because technology is everywhere. We see AI is growing, but who's creating these things?
And that's really
important.
That's important because we're missing. That's one of the reasons why the facial recognition was an issue, right?
Yes.
You didn't have the folks that needed to be involved in that. So this is fantastic.
Absolutely. It's so beautiful. Like we work with students who have no coding experience because they may not see it within their high schools, and that's why it's important for us to have a separate space for them. They're at home, they're at school, but can you come home? We call it home. But can you come to CodeNext? You're connecting with a bunch of students from all over the Bay Area to learn, to gain knowledge, and then to say, oh, I can build something for my community.
I love it.
And I want to say that's what we focus on. How can you create something that benefits others?
Awesome. And they go on to change the world.
Yes, absolutely.
Code Next. Awesome. Melanie Kimes, thank you for your good work and for bringing your team down to the Fruitvale.
Yes, and I do want to say real quick, our application is out. It closes August 4th, g.co/CodeNext.
All right.
y'all.
You got it.
Yes.
Melanie, thank you. Guess
you.
what? 2 weeks from now, we'll be in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos.
A whole different scene. Right now, let us sit and let us enjoy. We are here in the Fruitvale. We'll meet you in Los Gatos on August 4th for the 9. But, I mean, what, you want to do breakfast first and then walk around and then do lunch? What do you want to do?
I can't decide right now, but I'll start somewhere. I'll start somewhere. Thank you so much for joining us today. What a great time here. We wanted to share some of the positives that are coming out of the Fruitvale, and there is a lot happening in the Fruitvale, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go eat and stroll and just look around. Come on down here. It's a gorgeous day in the Fruitvale, everybody. Have a marvelous Friday, and thank you for joining us on our latest Zip Trip.